All right, next up we got Jeff on the line. Hey, Jeff, welcome. You're on Hats Off to You Sports Radio.
Jerry, thank you for taking my call. I'm a first time caller. Is it
Thank you.
true that Lane Kiffin is going over to LSU to be with Coach O over there?
I don't know. Nobody really knows that.
But sources close to the program
Look,
say
look.
that he.
The sources don't know. Nobody knows anything right now. Nobody.
No. See, my cousin has a buddy whose cat goes to a vet whose sister
Hey,
knows somebody close to the
Jeff, thank you for the
program.
call. Thank you for the
And
call, Jeff. Thank you for the call.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Hats Off to You, where we're going to talk about sports today. This is your boy, Jay.
I don't know how the guy does that. I don't know if that's his actual voice. Uh, Scotty Farrell, I don't know if you've heard him, but that's how he sounds like. It's great radio, but it can't be good for his skin. It cannot be. Uh, Real talk, though, this is Hats Off to You. This is a web show that I do where I just kind of talk about whatever's on my mind, right? And what's been weighing on my heart this weekend, what's been weighing deep and heavy on my heart this weekend was some of you may or may not know that I'm actually a sports fan, pretty big sports fan. And when I say pretty big sports fan, I mean I like some sports more than others. A big one is college football. And, you know, you can take that how you will. I like NFL, I like some basketball, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, the fall season with the college football, that's where it's at for me, right? So uh, I love the storylines. I love the hype that gets built up around the week to week game. They only play, about 12 games a season, 13 games a season, 14, whatever, if you get far enough. So, there ain't a lot of room for error. There's a lot of drama and theatricalness and ooh and ah and spectacle about it. And I love it. And of course, I love all the sub storylines through the week because uh, here is basically what I wanted to talk about to you is being a sport where you only play every week. Basketball, baseball, various other sports. You have several different opportunities to talk about what new actually happened in the game. But with football playing once a week, if you have a daily radio show and you got to fill up 3 to 4 hours of content, you're reaching a little bit. Now, granted, you can obviously, it's not like people just talk about college football all the time, but if you listen to the regional networks, especially where I live, that's basically about all you get. I listen to a local station out of mid-state, and I enjoy it. I enjoy some of the personalities and some of the because they really do try to wring as much different material as they can out of basically one or two things that happened over the weekend. And I understand that you got to reach to some degree. But that being said, we might be reaching a little bit. See, because as my earlier caller, Jeff, mentioned, right now there's talk about the Alabama offensive coordinator, Lane Kiffin, going to go rub elbows with his old buddy, Coach O, over at LSU now that he's been freshly appointed as the guy there, right? So, my thoughts on this, like, we have your talking folks, and I'm not bashing the sports media. I enjoy it. Okay, I'm not telling you to stop. Keep doing what you're doing, but we might be reaching just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, right? So I think we take things sort of way out of context and way out of the lines of where they need to be. Way out of perspective is one of my little phrases I like to say. Because, for instance, right now everybody has been speaking specifically to Lane Kiffin. Of course, I'm close to the situation. I'm not an Alabama graduate, nor do I go, nor have I ever gone. But my father went, so I get the fandomship, honestly, right? That being said, I can deal with Auburn folks. I have Auburn friends and family, so okay, little brother. They get a little uppish sometimes. We have the Duke It Out once a year. It's all big fun. It's all good natured, but friends don't let friends pull for the Tennessee Volunteers. I have no problem with Tennessee, the state, or the people who live there. That's just an awful shade of orange. And Rocky Top's a bad, terrible song. Right, so much love and respect to Tennessee. But as a Bama fan, clearly I like what we got going this season and what we've had going for the past few seasons, right? And I was on what people have called the Lane train since before he even got there. I like having a couple different looks. I like kind of throwing some wild cards out there. It's fun. So naturally, story with him is he was a head coach a couple different places and then lost his job, and then he was hired at Alabama as the offensive coordinator. And he's been there. This will be his third year that he was there. And people have already been long since talking this season about how he's going to go and be a coach someplace, and how he's just looking for a head coaching position, and how he going to be a head coach, right? Right. Well, maybe he won't be, because let's you and me be honest here, because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about the real talk, all right? I'm going to tell you the way things is, not the way things could be, but the way things is, right? So, here we go. Nobody knows what Lane Kiffin gonna do. He may not even know what he gonna do yet, right? And this, we're at that time of year in college football where we do the coaching carousel, as they call it, where people who maybe haven't done so well, coaches and coordinators and what have you, get fired or decide they want to move on somewhere else. People retire, whatever, and then people get uprooted and go move over here, and then kind of like the game where the little panel like shoots up and all the little pieces scatter, and then you're in a rush to try and put them back in. And that's the coaching carousel in a nutshell. It's not really a carousel so much as it's a cluster. So the coaching cluster. So people were talking last season, about this time, a little bit before, 54 weeks ago, whatever, right? LSU, as a Bama fan, my guilty pleasure was actually looking at LSU. And, I liked Les Miles, and I thought he was a good guy. And maybe he didn't win against Alabama, and maybe he did some weird stuff there in the end of his tenure. But you know what? He's still a winner. He still had the winning pedigree. So, but as it is, people, they get tired of what's there. They want something new. They want something different. And the murmurers started, oh, well, Les Miles isn't going to be here at the end of the year. And what LSU did, and I'm not ragging on LSU as far as the program goes. Like I said, it's kind of my guilty pleasure to watch their games, right? Even as a Bama fan. But the leadership, the AD, the boosters, the powers that be, whoever runs the money, holds the purse strings over there, telegraphed it way too soon. We made it a known point well before it should have been made known, a well point, that Miles was going to get fired. And so what happened? Everybody said, well, think about what Les Miles has done for this program and how it's sad what they do. It's just sad what they do, how they treating him. Which maybe it kind of was. So then he goes out to his last game of the regular season, and his team is carrying them off on his shoulders. People are chanting his name, and he's just kind of waving nonchalantly like, yeah, I'm probably going to get fired. He goes to the press conference, and they basically tell him on his way up to the podium, you're around for another year, Les. So he's like kind of sitting there, and everybody's like, "Oh, when did you know that you were going to be the coach going forward?" I just found out about it. So he said. So they telegraphed it way too soon. They wanted to get rid of him, but they made it so obvious that people got sentimental. So then this year, they axed him after 3 games. Okay, so he gone. So what they do? Well, now they've, at the time, promoted one of the coordinators, Ed Ogeron, Coach O, to being the interim head coach. And then everybody started saying, and the same storyline from last year sort of kind of carried over to this one, where people were saying, well, if they get rid of Les Miles, they're going to go after Jimbo Fisher down at FSU. Jimbo Fisher is not leaving FSU. He was never going to leave FSU. It wasn't going to happen. I don't know why everybody said that. They've been hot as something that's really hot for the past few years. They won a championship not that long ago, y'all. He wasn't going to go nowhere. So then this year, everybody talks about, well, LSU is probably going to look at that Tom Herman, that's right. Tom Herman. It shows you how much I know about him. Not that I'm saying he's a bad coach. Not that I'm saying that he's from a know-nothing program. Hey, Houston's all right. He seems to be all right. Good on him. I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying that people start throwing his name out there like it's obvious. Like, well, duh, of course it will be Tom Herman. No, maybe it's not. And then what happened is the coach for the Texas Longhorns lost his job just recently. And then what happened? Mr. Herman went to go be the coach there. So LSU didn't get Tom Herman. So let me ask the people who speculate on this. You thought that a Texas man was going to leave Texas to come down to LSU, where a guy who was doing pretty good got fired? It wasn't going to happen. That wasn't. Nah, piss y'all, that wasn't going to happen. But I'll tell you what is going to happen. Pretty much, the guy who everybody likes down there, Coach O, is going to get hired because everybody likes him. And he had a winning season at the end of it. Now, did he really do anything much different than the Mad Hatter? And really, if you want to be fair, it's still Les's staff, Les's recruits, a lot of Les's system. Heck, Ogeron was part of that same staff. Whether he hired him or not, irrelevant. Still part of the same staff. Still worked with the same guy. Still owned the same train, right? So, my point to you, Mr. Viewer, is that we tend to grab on speculation. It's always fun to talk about the what ifs and the speculations and whatever, and oh well, I bet that he really wanted to do this, or this is where his heart is, or whatever. Okay, but the thing is, you got to be able to tell the difference between speculation and conjecture, and I think that could possibly happen. That might be what's in the back of his mind, versus this is, by Jiminy, the truth gonna happen. It's written in the scrolls. It's gonna happen. It's probably not gonna happen. And I get it. You're the media. You're journalists. Of course you want to have the first breaking story. It's a gamble. If you jump in and you say, this is what's going to happen, and it turns out to be right, then you were the first one to break it. But if it's wrong, well, by the time everybody said that this is going to be the thing that happens and it doesn't, everybody's wrong. So my suggestion is, let's stay in our lane, keep it in the box of real perspective, and let's just talk about things that maybe have happened or very likely will happen, not speculation and conjecture. Although I'll be willing to speculate that your friends will absolutely love this YouTube channel, and you'd probably like what you see over on the Facebook too. I put some little videos and tidbitables over there. There's also a Twitter. Look down in the description below and see what you like down there, right? Hats off to you.